UFC 290, Volkanovski versus Rodriguez, underdog of the card. We've had a lot of time for these odds to settle around, move, bounce around all over the place. I mean, at one point, Bo Nickel was minus 5,000 and still is on one of these bookies, but you know what these videos are for. It's not just saying, if I have an underdog winning, for example, say I have Alonzo Menifield winning, he's not going to just be the underdog of the card just because I have him winning. As an underdog, we're looking for possibly the most valuable underdog on the entire card of UFC 290, Volkanovski versus Rodriguez, from a betting standpoint. So if I thought Yair had a pretty even chance to that of, I don't know, Alonzo Menifield, like I was saying, I would say Alonzo and Yair had the same chance to go out there and get the win this weekend. Well, obviously, Yair Rodriguez would be a much better underdog, because where is he at right now? Plus 310, where Alonzo is at plus 124. You kind of get the gist of the video. Let's start it from the bottom and work our way to the top, telling you why some of these guys should not be the underdog of the card, and then eventually, maybe the middle of the card, maybe towards the main event, maybe we get to it really fast. We will find out who my underdog of the card is for UFC 290, and obviously I'm curious to see what yours is as well. So I'd love for you guys to comment down below your underdog of the card. It could be in the main event, co-main event, it could be on the prelims. Just comment down below your underdog of the card and why you are choosing that person. Let's look at the first fight. Esteban Ribovics and Kamwela Kirk. I think the odds are right where they should be. Esteban is the much bigger guy. He's more powerful, better striking, solid takedown defense, and there's really not much there. I know you're getting a lot better odds on Kamwela Kirk than a few days ago, but now he's plus 130 right now. He was like plus 140 a few days ago. He was like plus 110 at one point. There's really not enough there for me to have Kamwela Kirk as that valuable of an underdog. Jesus Aguilar, I think he's undervalued. I think he should probably be a 2-to-1 favorite type of guy on this UFC fight card, because Shannon Ross's chin is absolutely horrible, and yeah, Jesus Aguilar just could go out there, throw some big shots, and submit him earlier on in that fight. I feel like these underdog odds are really not worth it for Shannon Ross. Then we get into the big underdog territory. This is where it starts to get very interesting, because yeah, I do have Cameron Saaiman winning, and yes, I am confident that Cameron Saaiman is going to win, but Terrence Mitchell has not fought inside of the UFC for so long, and we've only seen him fight very low level guys like Skylar Schlosser, Christian Alexander over there in Alaska Combat Entertainment, some random organization where he's just fighting in the co-main event against the guy that has no nationality, no age, no height, and no jib. I don't really know what to think about Terrence Mitchell coming in here on short notice fighting Cameron Saaiman, but I mean, even there's too many variables and unknowns for me to have Terrence Mitchell as the underdog of the card. It's still crazy odds at plus 440 for one of the tallest, lengthiest guys in the lower weight classes. But no, I'm not going to have Terrence Mitchell as my underdog of the card. Marcin Prachnio, a few days ago, if you asked me, he was in contention. I'll be honest. A few days ago, the man was like plus 250, plus 260, and I think I even saw one of them where he was nearing, like, Vitor Petrino was nearing that minus 300 mark. He's actually minus 300 on one of these bookies right now, which is absolutely crazy, in my opinion, to have Marcin Prachnio at plus 250, a guy that has a win over top 15 Khalil Roundtree not that long ago, fairly dominantly in that fight. I would say, even now, Marcin Prachnio is probably in my top 3 for underdog of the card. A few days ago, he might have actually been my underdog of the card, but the odds just aren't there anymore, even at the plus 100s, and barely cracking the plus 200s. But again, a few days ago, my man Marcin probably would have been my underdog of the card. Edgar Chairez is another guy where you're going to get some real value on Edgar Chairez. He's a finisher, a lot of submission wins, a lot of knockout wins on his record. It's flyweight. All it takes is one weird scramble and Chairez gets a neck of Taira, lands a big shot on Taira and knocks him out. Those are obviously going to be little sprinkle odds. Obviously, do not put Tatsuro Taira in the parlay. That is just ridiculous. Alonzo Menifio, we already told you I have Jimmy Crute winning that fight. I had a bet on Jimmy Crute at plus 100. If you were a channel member, you would have saw that notification a few weeks ago, actually. I got that one in very early, as I knew he would have ended up being the favorite. But plus 125, there's not enough there for him. Denise Gomez has to be in that top 3 as well, with Marcin Parachnio. Edgar Chairez is probably like number 4 on best underdogs of the card. But Denise Gomez is definitely on there because she's got solid power in her hands, good finishing ability. And if she can dog this one out, make it a 3-round scrap and dogfight in the women's strawweight division, we know how close women's MMA fights can get and how much it could despair. The disparity could be on a judge's scorecards and just be really close. It goes this way, 30-27. The other judge has it this way, 30-27. Women's MMA judging is just another thing. But she's definitely top 3 on underdogs of the card. Robbie Lawler, Nico Price. This is another one high up there on underdog of the cards. There's no chance in heck I am betting minus 230, minus 240 on Nico Price, especially in Robbie Lawler's retirement fight. You know he's been training for a crazy amount of time to go out there and end his career on a high note. You know that the fans are going to be on his side. Every punch he lands, the fans are going to go crazy. Every punch Nico lands, they're going to be like, okay. And if it does hit the judges' scorecards, which I do think it will, it literally could go either way. So don't bet Nico Price. That is a lot closer of a fight. Plus 1,200, you might be like, dude, come on. This dude has finishing ability. 5 out of 7 wins by finish. Obviously, you gotta have Valentin Woodburn as your underdog of the card. We all know what's gonna happen, though. I'm not gonna bet Bo Nickel, but I'm not even gonna risk a sprinkle on Valentin Woodburn. I don't really feel him going out there having too much of a chance. Obviously, it's MMA. He has that chance for sure. It is an underdog or a pass type of fight, but no, I am not going to have Valentin as underdog of the card, which leaves 4 fights on the main card, one of which is going to be my underdog of the card. We're going to take one of those off in Yair Rodriguez in the main event. I've already parlayed Volkanovski. I think he's so dominant on the ground in terms of his wrestling, grappling, and ground and pound that even if Yair has some moments on the feet where he's landing some really good kicks, boom, he can get the takedown and smash Yair Rodriguez on the ground. Brandon Moreno, Alessandro Pantoja is definitely a dogger pass type of fight. You're not going to be betting minus 200 for Brandon Moreno, but still, I'm not going to have Pantoja as my underdog of the card, leaving us with 2 men. We got Daniel Hooker and Dricus du Plessis. Is not going to be Dricus du Plessis. My underdog of the card is going to be Daniel Hooker. Man is coming out there with a vengeance after Jalen Turner just missed weight. He's plus 242 in this fight against Jalen Turner. If you look at his previous fights inside of the UFC's lightweight division against Claudio Puelles, however you say that name, he was a slight favorite. Arnold Allen, that was a 50-50. Islam was a 4-1 favorite. He was a favorite on Nasser Haqparas. He was the favorite on Michael Chandler. He was a 2-1 underdog on Dustin Poirier, and that was a really close fight. If the odds are having Dustin Poirier and Jalen Turner at different odds and saying Jalen Turner is a bigger favorite over Dan Hooker, I think there's something totally wrong there. We had minus 110 for the Arnold Allen fight. I do believe Jalen Turner is way overvalued on these betting odds. And just as we were making this video, oh my gosh, let's refresh that again. Jalen Turner is now a minus 300 favorite. Started at minus 200, is now officially minus 300 with Dan Hooker at plus 250 odds. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an underdog bet for you guys right there. Dan Hooker to win as a plus 250 underdog. Again, I have Jalen Turner winning that fight. But if you're betting on this one, you're not at all going to be risking it on Jalen Turner to win, especially with Dan Hooker saying he's been training his wrestling, grappling nonstop. His takedown defense has been looking sharp. And overall, it could legitimately be a very close striking match for 3 straight rounds. And we know Turner's been knocked out. We know Hooker's been knocked out. 3-1 seems insane. I'd have Jalen Turner half of that at maybe minus 140, minus 150. What do y'all think about that? Dan Hooker is my underdog of the card at plus 250. Would you have someone else? Maybe a Yair Rodriguez, a Duplessis, Dennis Gomez, Marcin Peracnio, Edgar Chairez. Put your underdog of the card down below in the comments section. Like and subscribe. And as usual, if you want all the bets that I'm making for this card, link is in the description. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.